Okay, so like, have you ever like thought about how you order something online and it shows up at your door like super fast?
Yeah,
Or how about like factories? They always seem to have exactly the amount of stuff and there's no big piles of waste anywhere.
right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you stop and think about it.
Yeah, it feels kind of magical, doesn't it?
It really does. Like there's some hidden magic going on behind the
Oh, it's
scenes.
that magic. It's really a really clever use of technology, something we call machine learning. So
Exactly.
this deep dive is all about ML, or machine learning as you might hear it, and how these systems are like quietly changing how we make, move, and sell things.
Yeah,
And today we're specifically focusing on supply chains and manufacturing.
absolutely.
So at its core, machine learning is teaching computers how to learn from data.
Yeah,
So these are systems that get better at doing things over time by looking at patterns and information.
right.
And they don't have to be told exactly what to do every step of the way.
It's really about them figuring it out on their own.
And this is actually part of a bigger field called artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
So not quite those sentient robots we see in the movies.
Not yet.
Not yet, but definitely some pretty intelligent systems doing all this work.
For sure.
For this deep dive, we've gathered some really interesting info about what machine learning is, and we're going to look at some real examples of how businesses are using it right now.
Great.
And our mission for you is simple.
Okay.
We want to give you a clear understanding of the core ideas behind ML and show you how it's revolutionizing industries.
Yeah, I like it.
So consider this your crash course
Nice.
to grasping this complex topic.
Without getting too lost in the weeds.
Exactly.
So where do you want to start?
Well, I think it makes sense to start with just understanding the fundamental ways that machine learning works.
Yeah, I agree. Let's break it down.
Okay, great. So let's dive into one of the main approaches.
Okay.
This is called supervised learning.
All right.
Now, that name might sound a little technical, but the idea itself is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So imagine a store that's trying to predict how much they're going to sell next month.
Right.
They've got years of data from the past, like what they've sold, how many customers came in, what kinds of promotions they ran, even stuff like the weather.
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information. So a supervised learning model takes all that historical data and it starts to find the connections between all these different factors.
So it's like the model is learning from experience in a way.
Exactly. It's like learning what leads to more sales or fewer sales.
Right.
So the model might realize that, hey, a 10% discount usually leads to a 15% jump in sales.
Interesting.
Or that rainy days tend to mean 20% fewer customers.
Makes sense.
And it can even learn those yearly patterns like the crazy holiday shopping rush.
Yeah, it's all about seeing those patterns, right?
Right. It's all about finding those hidden connections in all that data.
And then what?
Well, once that model has learned from all that past data, it can then take in new information,
Okay.
like what discounts are planned for next month and what the weather forecast looks like. And then it makes a prediction about how much the store is likely to sell.
Wow, so it's not just looking at the past, it's using that to look into the future.
Exactly. So it might say to the store, hey, with a 10% discount in sunny weather, you can expect a 15% increase in sales.
That's really powerful.
And this isn't just theory. This is actually happening in the real world.
Oh, wow.
Big retailers like Walmart and Target are using this kind of ML-powered sales forecasting to optimize their inventory.
So they always have what you need.
Exactly. They're trying to make sure the shelves aren't bare when you need something, but they're also trying to avoid having tons of unsold products just sitting in warehouses.
Makes sense.
It's all about getting the right stuff to the right place at the right time.
That's efficiency.
And supervised learning is a big part of making that happen.
I see.
So that's supervised learning.
Okay.
Now, there's another major type of machine learning.
Okay.
And this is unsupervised learning.
Okay.
Now, this is different because you're not feeding the system labeled data with specific answers.
So it's kind of like figuring things out on its own.
Exactly. So let's think about spam email detection.
Okay.
Nobody is manually tagging every email as or not spam, right?
Right, there's way too many emails for that.
Way too many emails. So instead, the system takes in millions of unlabeled emails.
Okay.
And it starts looking for patterns all by itself.
So what kinds of patterns would it be looking for?
Well, it might notice certain words or phrases that often show up in spam.
Like what?
Like, congratulations, you've won.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, we all have. Or it might spot emails from addresses that look suspicious.
Okay.
Or emails with links that seem a little off.
Right.
So think of it like sorting a big pile of candy into groups based on color and shape without actually knowing the name of each candy.
I like that analogy.
So basically, it's grouping similar emails together based on these shared characteristics.
And it's doing it all on its own.
Yep. And over time, it learns from how people interact with these emails.
Oh,
So
interesting.
if a lot of people mark a certain type of email as spam, the filter gets even better at recognizing those kinds of messages in the future.
That's pretty smart.
And this is what powers those amazing spam filters we all rely on. Like,
Hmm?
think about it, Gmail and Outlook, they block something like 99% of spam automatically.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's a massive amount of junk that we never even have to see.
And it's all thanks to unsupervised learning.
Exactly. It's all about finding those hidden patterns in huge amounts of data.
It's amazing how far it's come.
It really is.
It makes you wonder how these machine learning techniques have evolved over time.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at that journey. It definitely wasn't always as sophisticated as it is today.
No, not at all.
So back in the early days, from the 1950s to the 1980s, a lot of the basic ideas of machine learning were first developed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Alan Turing's work on AI, for example.
Right.
That was groundbreaking stuff.
It was.
And we also saw the very first neural networks in these things called rule-based learning systems.
Okay.
But progress was limited because the computers back then just weren't powerful enough.
They couldn't handle it.
Not really. It was mostly a time of developing the ideas, the theories.
So the concepts were there, but the technology wasn't quite ready.
Exactly.
Then what happened?
Well, then, as we moved into the 1990s and 2000s, we saw something called statistical learning start to emerge.
Okay.
And suddenly we had methods like support vector machines and decision trees becoming more practical.
So these were new ways for computers to make predictions and classifications.
Exactly. They could do it in much more sophisticated ways based on patterns and data.
And the computers were getting more powerful too.
Much more powerful.
So this was a really important step because now data-driven models became much more usable in the real world.
Absolutely. We started to see early examples of machine learning being used in places like retail and supply chains.
Oh, like for things like demand forecasting.
Exactly, just like we talked about earlier.
It's all starting to come together.
It is, and then came the real game changer in the 2010s.
Okay.
The deep learning and big data revolution.
Wow, what was that all about?
Well, this was driven by some huge advancements in cloud computing,
Okay.
which meant we suddenly had access to tons of processing power.
That makes sense.
And then there was this huge explosion of data coming from things like the Internet of Things or IoT.
Right, so now we've got the data and the power to process it.
Exactly. And this allowed for the development of these very complex models called deep neural networks.
And these could be trained on massive data sets.
Huge data sets.
So that's when we started to see those big tech companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla really start to use machine learning in a big way.
Huge way for everything from personalized recommendations to self-driving cars.
That's amazing.
And it wasn't just those big companies. This is when machine learning really started to become part of all sorts of industries,
Right.
including supply chains, logistics, and manufacturing.
And it was all about streamlining things, reducing costs, and just making everything more efficient.
Exactly.
So what's next? Well, what does the future hold for machine learning?
Well, it looks like we're moving towards even more autonomy with AI-powered systems that can almost run themselves.
Like self-optimizing supply chains?
Exactly. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, but the groundwork is already being laid.
Wow. So we might also see more ML-driven robots in logistics and warehouses.
Yeah.
And things like real-time AI-driven network planning and predictive maintenance becoming the norm in manufacturing.
It's amazing to think about.
It really is. So we've got a good understanding of the basics of ML and how it's evolved.
Right.
Now let's see how it's actually being used.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's start with supply chain planning.
All right.
We've already talked about demand forecasting, but how else is ML changing this first stage of getting products to us?
Well, beyond predicting how much of a product will be needed, machine learning is also revolutionizing inventory management.
Okay.
By analyzing sales data from the past weather patterns, even social media trends, these ML algorithms can provide really accurate forecasts.
And that helps companies get their stock levels just right.
Exactly.
So it helps reduce stockouts.
Which means customers can actually buy what they need.
Right, and it also helps prevent overstock, which leads to waste and higher storage costs.
It's a win-win.
It is.
We mentioned Walmart earlier.
Yeah.
They've actually used ML to reduce stockouts by a pretty significant 30%.
Yeah, that's huge both for them and their customers.
For sure, it keeps customers happy and loyal to the brand.
Exactly.
And it's not just about finished goods.
Oh, really?
Machine learning is also super important for things like assessing supplier risk and optimizing procurement.
Okay.
These ML algorithms can evaluate how well different suppliers are performing.
Right.
They can analyze market trends and even look at global risks that might affect the supply chain.
So it's not just about finding the cheapest option.
Yup, it's about understanding the entire supply network and where the potential problems might be.
Makes sense.
Companies like Unilever are using AI to monitor supplier risks, and they've seen a 50% reduction in supply chain disruptions because of it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's not just saving money, it's about being proactive and making sure things run smoothly.
So instead of reacting to problems, they're trying to prevent them in the first place.
Exactly.
And then there's the actual physical movement of goods.
Right, logistics and warehouse automation.
It seems like every time I read about a big retailer, they're talking about AI-powered robots in their warehouses.
Yeah, you're right. Machine learning is at the heart of all that.
So it's powering the robots and the systems that pick and pack orders.
Exactly. And it's not just inside the warehouse. These algorithms are also optimizing delivery routes, making transportation more efficient.
So it's figuring out the best way to get things from point A to point B.
Exactly. Amazon has seen a 50% increase in warehouse productivity thanks to these ML-powered robots.
Wow, it's like the whole process from predicting what's needed to actually getting it into the customer's hands is being fine-tuned by these intelligent systems.
It really is.
So we've talked about how ML is changing the movement and storage of goods.
Right.
Now let's zoom out a bit and talk about network planning. How is machine learning impacting the big picture, the entire supply chain network?
So this is where we look at how goods flow through the whole system, from raw materials all the way to the end customer.
Okay.
And one key area is route optimization and reducing freight costs.
Okay.
These ML algorithms can look at huge amounts of data on traffic patterns, fuel costs, weather, and delivery schedules.
And then it figures out the most efficient routes?
Precisely.
We can't even imagine trying to do that manually for thousands of delivery vehicles every day.
It's a massive task, and machine learning is perfect for it.
So who's doing this?
Well, UPS, for example, they use their Orion system, which is powered by ML, to optimize their delivery routes.
And what kind of results are they seeing?
They're saving around 10 million gallons of fuel every year.
Wow, so it's not just saving money, it's also good for the environment.
Absolutely. And it's not just about planning the routes beforehand, it's also about predicting potential problems and making adjustments in real time.
That makes sense. So if there's an accident or a traffic jam, the system can reroute the vehicles.
Now, what about predictive maintenance for those transportation fleets?
Ah, that's another big one.
Yeah.
So by using IoT sensors on vehicles to collect data on things like engine performance and tire pressure,
Okay.
machine learning models can predict when something is likely to break down.
That's really useful.
It is, instead of waiting for something to break, companies can schedule maintenance in advance.
Which saves them time and money.
Exactly. DHL has reported a 30% reduction in their fleet maintenance costs by using these types of predictions.
That's a big saving.
And then there's dynamic pricing and inventory allocation.
Okay.
Machine learning can see how demand changes in different areas and adjust prices and inventory levels accordingly.
So if there's a sudden increase in demand for a product in one city,
The system can automatically raise the price there and make sure there's enough stock.
by maybe moving it from a city where demand is lower.
Exactly. Nike has used this to reduce their excess inventory by 20%.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having the right products in the right places at the right prices.
Precisely. So we've seen how ML is changing how goods are moved and stored.
Right.
Now let's step inside the factory. How is machine learning being used in the actual manufacturing process?
So manufacturing is another area where machine learning is having a big impact,
Okay.
especially in things like predictive maintenance, quality control, and automation.
Makes sense.
Just like with those transportation fleets, predictive maintenance using sensors and algorithms is key for keeping factories running smoothly.
Because nobody wants a machine to suddenly break down and stop production.
Right, that can be really costly.
So being able to predict those failures can save a lot of time and money.
Exactly. GE has seen a 20% reduction in unplanned downtime in their factories because of AI-driven predictive maintenance.
That's a huge improvement.
It gives them a real competitive edge.
And then there's quality control.
Right.
I can't imagine having to check every single product by hand.
It would be incredibly time-consuming, and you're bound to miss things.
So how is ML changing this?
So this is where we use computer vision systems that are powered by ML.
Okay.
These systems can be trained to spot even tiny defects in products.
And they do it in real time?
Yep, often with much better accuracy than a human inspector.
So who's using this?
BMW, for example, they've seen a 50% reduction in manufacturing defects by using this type of visual inspection.
Wow, 50%. That's a massive improvement in quality.
It really shows how AI is raising the bar in manufacturing.
And finally, what about those smart robots we hear so much about?
Ah, yes, robotics in manufacturing.
It's not just those simple robotic arms anymore, right?
Nope, we're now talking about AI-powered robots that can do really complex tasks.
Like what?
Things like assembly, welding, packaging, all with incredible precision and flexibility.
And they can adapt to different situations?
Exactly. Tesla is a great example. They've been using AI-driven robotics in their factories.
And it's working.
They've seen a 30% improvement in their assembly speed.
Wow. It sounds like machine learning is really becoming the foundation of modern manufacturing.
It really is.
Okay, so for any business out there that's thinking This all sounds amazing, but how do we actually do it?
Right.
What are the actual steps involved in implementing machine learning in their supply chain or manufacturing process?
So that's a really important question.
It is.
Implementing ML successfully takes a few key steps.
Okay.
First, you need to figure out exactly what you want to achieve.
So what specific problems are you trying to solve?
Exactly. What are your goals? Are you trying to improve your demand forecasting, reduce warehouse costs, maybe boost your product quality?
You can't just say, we need to do machine learning.
Right. You need to have a specific target in mind.
Okay, so once you have your goals, what's next?
The next step is to gather and prepare all the data you need.
And where does this data come from?
It could come from a lot of different places like your ERP systems, sensors on your machines, CRM data supplier, databases, warehouse management systems, all sorts of places.
It sounds like a lot of data.
It can be, and it's super important that this data is good quality and clean.
Because bad data in equals bad results out.
Exactly.
So once the data is ready, what then?
Well, then you need to choose the right machine learning model for the job.
And there are different types of ML, right?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, there's supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and even reinforcement learning.
And each one is good for different things.
Exactly. Supervised learning might be good for forecasting demand and managing inventory.
Okay.
Unsupervised learning could be used to spot problems in quality control.
And reinforcement learning.
That's more like training a dog with rewards and punishments.
Oh, okay.
You can use that to optimize those complex supply chains.
So once you've chosen the right model, what happens then?
Well, then comes the fun part, actually building and training the model.
I know there are special tools and platforms for this.
Yeah, there are lots of tools out there like Python TensorFlow and cloud-based services like AWS Machine Learning.
And this is where the data scientists and engineers come in?
Exactly. They use these tools to build, train, and test the ML models using all that data you've collected.
So once the model is trained, what's the next step?
Well, you need to integrate it with your existing systems.
Right. It can't just live on its own?
Nope. It needs to be connected to the systems that actually run your business.
So that could mean connecting it to ERP systems, warehouse management systems, or transportation management systems.
Exactly.
And the final step.
Well, it's not really final because it's an ongoing process.
Okay.
But it's continuous monitoring and improvement.
So even though the model is trained, the work doesn't stop there.
No, machine learning models aren't static. They need to be regularly updated and retrained with new data.
So they can stay accurate and effective.
Exactly. It's like a continuous learning process, just like the machine learning itself.
That's really cool.
It is.
So as we look ahead, what does the future hold for machine learning in supply chain and manufacturing?
Well, the future's looking really exciting.
Okay.
One big trend is hyperautomation.
And what's that?
So it's the idea of creating supply chains that can basically learn and make decisions on their own.
Wow, so we're talking about systems that can not only predict things, but also automatically adjust and optimize themselves?
Exactly.
That sounds almost entirely hands-off.
In some areas, yes.
And what else?
We'll also see more AI-driven real-time analytics.
So that means instant demand sensing and inventory tracking.
Precisely, so businesses can make decisions much faster and be more agile.
And agility is key in today's fast-paced world.
Absolutely.
What else?
But we'll also see more AI and IoT coming together, which is often called Industry 4.0.
Okay.
This will lead to even smarter factories with fully automated production lines and machines that can fix themselves.
Wow.
And last but not least, there's a growing focus on making supply chains more sustainable.
So using machine learning to optimize energy consumption, reduce waste and source materials in a more responsible way.
Exactly. So it's not just about efficiency and saving money, it's also about being good to the planet.
So machine learning can help businesses be more profitable and more sustainable.
Ex
Okay, so let's sum it all up. What are the key takeaways from our deep dive into machine learning in supply chain and manufacturing?
The main message is that machine learning is not some futuristic idea anymore. It's a powerful tool that's already making a big difference.
It's happening right now.
It's helping businesses make their supply chains more efficient, reduce costs, and make better decisions.
And we've seen examples of big companies like Walmart, UPS, Amazon, BMW, Tesla, and GE all using ML to get real benefits.
Absolutely.
And this isn't just for the big guys, is it?
No, as the technology gets easier to use and the benefits become clearer, I think we'll see more and more businesses of all sizes adopting it.
And the future looks even more exciting.
It does those trends like hyperautomation, AI-driven analytics, and the merging of AI and IoT.
They're going to change things even more.
They will.
So while implementive ML does take careful planning, data management, and the right expertise,
Right.
the potential rewards are huge.
They are in terms of efficiency, agility, and sustainability.
So the next time you get a package delivered on time or you see a product perfectly stocked on a shelf,
Yeah.
think about all the data and algorithms working behind the scenes.
It's like a hidden world.
It is. It's a testament to the power of machines that can learn.
That's machine learning.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder what other everyday things might be changing in ways we don't even realize thanks to machine learning.
That's a great question.
It is food for thought.